Hello everyone and welcome to Console Speed Tier 3. My name is Thomas, next to me is Lewis and we are here at Silverstone for the home Grand Prix of a lot of Tier 3 guys. Lewis, welcome mate, I'm happy you are here in the commentary box with me. How are you doing?
Yeah, great to be back again on Mondays. Yeah, very well, thank you, during this time, and great track to be racing at. Silverstone, the home of the British Grand Prix, like you said, home to a lot of the drivers in our league, and also it was the very first race to be held in Formula One, so it's a very special circuit, good one for the drivers. Drivers do enjoy it, and yeah, looking forward to tonight's action.
Ooh, and we got some inside knowledge from Dan Robbo, as he says it's gonna be a wet to dry race for today. So that will mix some things up. We will see people going for a wet setup, people going for a dry setup. It will depend on when the rain will stop during the race, if people are gonna go for the wet or the dry setup. So we've got to wait and see. It will be a very interesting qualifying session. It will definitely be a very interesting race.
Absolutely. So no time set. A lot of people are obviously on their outlaps at the moment. Obviously, last week's race in Austria, it was Austria always does bring, I think, does bring up the goods, but yeah, we had a good fun race, and I expect very much the same here. Track in terms of overtaking, it's the TRS zones, obviously Wellington Straight and Hangar Straight, and also after turns 1 and 2, going into, I guess they call it the Abbey section, the newer. The more recent modified section of the track, as you'd say, that area is a good overtaking opportunity. The circuit's very wide, so you can get 3 wide. Oh, we've already got a retiree.
Yeah, that's BVG, because he's got a quali ban, so he's done the right job going out, getting loaded his setup, and went into the pits and retired. So he's done perfectly well.
Right, that's fine then. Yeah, so like I said, the track's pretty wide, so you can get 2 to even 3 wide sometimes, particularly at the starts or in safety car restarts. And this section of Maggots and Beckett is just amazing. When you get that right, it's such a great feeling, and it can reward you with getting a good run into the Hangar Straight, looking to overtake someone, or just to get a really good lap in qualifying.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. It will be very interesting to see if people can stay really close to the guy in front going through Maggots and Beckett, because people who are running a lone downforce setup will struggle to keep really close to the car in front, and it would actually hurt you on the straight if you can't get past. So it will be very interesting to see if people can actually hold on and overtake on the straight. So yeah, it will be something to look forward to.
And that's the thing with this circuit, you're having to compensate in one area, like which side do you go for? It's a track that requires high downforce, but at the same time you do spend a lot of time full throttle at very fast flowing corners, so you sort of still want the speed, but not, you don't want to have too little downforce like you said, because that would make overtaking particularly difficult coming out of a section where there was a lot of corners. So it is fascinating. I think there is a setup for the ultimate lap time, and there's little tweaks to that you can make to improve your car for the race setup. But it's one of those tracks, a bit like I suppose. We're trying to think of another track that's like it. Suzuka, although Suzuka's much harder to overtake on, that's another track I feel that's high downforce, but do you want to go too much and then be set up to overtakes?
Yeah, you want to find that absolute perfect balance between having a good quali setup and a good race setup, because you can go for quali, but with the track how it is, with the DRS zones it's got, it's very likely that the guy behind you will stay into that 1 second window, so you have to pull away on the corners. And if you're running a really good quali setup, then you will struggle to pull that gap during the corners, during the race. So yeah, it's the same with Japan really, where you just got to find that perfectly balanced. And as you said, with almost being full throttle for the whole way round, it's really hard to save ERS as well, so you need to manage that absolutely perfect if you want to gain some advantage on the guy ahead. But if you can manage it really well, it really will make a big difference. let's go to what is happening on track at the moment. We've got Raidcon currently in P1 with a 127.6. Behind him here is Stampy, and in P3 then, surprisingly enough, with a 127.8. As I say that, Kelselswag puts in the fast lap of the race with a 127.5.
Lovely job. So, strategy-wise, there's no safety car. I guess it's soft to medium is the safest, easy strategy to do around here. But obviously there are safety cars, and with the conditions that we've got for this race, where it's going to be raining later, it's a case of soft tyres, and then I'm guessing intermediate. I don't know whether it's going into heavy rain, because that really would.
Yeah, it depends on whether they start on inters or on wets, because if they start on wets, you got that transition period where you have to go onto inters before going on to the dries, and with the long pit straight, that will be very tricky. So, but if they start on inters, then it shouldn't be a problem, because then they will probably all go into the pits at the same time, go on to dries, and then make it till the end of the race, because you can almost make it from lap 1 onwards on the hard tires, so that should be no problem.
That's it. So, yeah, that's what we've got. Really interesting, start of the race, and it's all about getting the right window of when to come in to change those tyres. Obviously, the strategy, the race engineer does give you massive help as Titchy goes fastest, 27.5. But yeah, it's something that does. You miss out a couple of laps. It's a real nightmare for you. So, and also those conditions being really tricky on those slick tyres when you first come out. So, yeah, looking for a cracking race later.
Yep, Bates there had a little bit of a tricky situation where he had to back out for the guys coming from behind as he's on his outlap now. He came out of the pits and immediately had to move out of the way, but he managed it really well. Took a little bit of a braking board out of there, but it's alright. He didn't get in the way of anyone, so that was a tricky situation, but all good for him. As Stitchy, like you said, is leading the way in quali with 8 minutes and 40 seconds to go. Is the Ferrari leading here at Silverstone. Behind him a Red Bull, behind him a McLaren. It's not what you see all of the time, and especially not with Kelselswag and Raikkonen in P2 and P3. So are these the guys going for a dry setup, and is the rest of the grid going for a wet setup? That is the question though.
Absolutely. I mean, I reckon it's going to be dry. I reckon it'll be a dry setup though, majority of people.
Yeah, I think so as well, but we had Steve in the chat and he said that it will be a full wet start, so I think, knowing that, I think a lot of guys will go onto a wet setup, because it will firstly be wet, then onto inters, and I think only the last bit of the race will be on dries. So it could actually be a thing.
That would make sense, obviously, because you get that crucial start, and having a wet setup makes it a massive difference. However, people maybe would want to gamble, go on dry setup, just so that they have a better starting position and therefore less chance of getting involved in an accident. That is what you got to contend with. You know, if people, I reckon there'll still be a fair few that will stick to the dry setup purely for the fact of getting track position, and they'll just wing it at the beginning. But no doubt, the people that are in a wet setup right now in qualifying are going to really reap the rewards, as long as they can avoid the making contact and getting damage in those opening few laps.
Yeah, 100%. You need to stay out of the carnage at the beginning laps, because the pit straight is so long around this track and you have to go so slow through it as well, that as soon as you pick up damage, it's almost race over unless there comes out a safety car. Surprisingly enough, Mediro puts it up into pole position for now, as I spoke to him a little bit before the stream and he wasn't really feeling confident at all, but he is clearly showing he's got the pace around here with 127.4 at the moment. Doing a good job putting that Alfa Romeo up into P1. Let's see who's on a quick lap at the moment. I think Sneaky Tom is pushing. Indeed he is. He is low on fuel, but he is going for a quick lap. Let's see. Keeps it in second gear through turn 4. you see some guys will probably go to first gear. Maybe not with the wet weather, but certainly during qualifying. Keeps it in 7th gear. Yeah, that's good, as the Toro also gets out of the way as well. And then drops down to ERS mode 0, so I think he's given up on this lap. In fact, he did, yeah, he did. Let's see, Stampy is not pushing as well. Raycon, I think they're all finishing their laps now. Going into the pits to set their final fast lap.
Right, so 5.5 minutes left of this qualifying session. If you're new to Formula One in general, but in particular with this qualifying race format, because this isn't the true qualifying format of F1, it's a shortened format. So 20 minutes qualifying, and whatever lap time normally you would set your fastest lap time on, you have to start that race on that tyre if you've qualified in the first 10 positions. If you're outside the top 10, you're free to choose the compound tyre, and more importantly, it's a brand new set. Now, with what we know, with the next race being for the race being wet, this means qualifying isn't so important on the tyres because they're going to be starting on a wet or intermediate tyre. So all they can focus on is getting the ultimate lap time. Another thing to be aware of is the setups. The setups are in parc fermé, so that means they can't change any of the setups now. They select their setups before they go out the garage for this qualifying session. So that's why we're talking about dry setups and wet setups, because there's guys out here who are trying to get the better lap time on a setup that's suited for the conditions right now, but they might not be, well, they won't be as good at the beginning of the race. So that is for a layman's guide to this Formula One event, and we've got more coming for the rest of this week.
Yeah, 100%. Just a quick guide on how to manage qualifying in these kind of conditions, but you did pretty well, Lewis. So GG to that one. I think everyone is now up to date on how you should approach these kind of situations. I'm currently on board with Millsies, and I think he ran wide through Cops. Well, he's continuing on, so I don't think he invalidated his lap time. He puts on, or he opens his DRS up into ERS mode 4. He's definitely pushing. Let's see where it will bring him up. Going through Stowe now. Make sure you don't run wide. We've got strict corner cutting rules on Stowe for this Grand Prix, as the game allows you to run wide, but we don't. So you need to make sure you stay with at least 2 wheels on the track. He goes up to the line now as he puts in a 129.4, which stays P15 for Millsies.
Yep, so no improvement for him. We're seeing people coming out now. Stumpy and Tichy, the 2 Ferrari boys, are out. Ricciardo, and Pure Blades are out. Dan Hilton's out. They're starting to make their way out for their final run. Matty Robbo currently on pole position as it stands.
As it stands right now, Matty Robbo in pole position. He will be really happy about that one. But knowing the likes of Stampy, Tichy, Ricky, they will be trying to take that pole position away from him. And as I think the first one to really focus on is Stampy for this one, as he got Ricky behind him. And I think that's Mazza being the third car to come across. We will see it now. Firstly, go on board with Stampy, going through turn 1, going through turn 2. Up into 3P. Really good job. Up into turn 4. Does he go down to gear 1? No, he stays in 2nd gear, which is surprisingly to see. Quick upshift. DRS wide open. Let's see what his first sector time looks like. He is almost a 10th up on his lap time, so he's doing a good job now, looking to... Well, he's on for a P1 at the moment. Let's see how sector 2 is looking like. Up onto the old turn 1. Old start finish straight. Now through Cops onto Mackets and Beckett's. Make sure you don't run wide because it will invalidate you. He keeps it between the white lines. Does really well onto Mackets and Beckett's. Now brilliant section of the track. You absolutely love to see it going through here. And I think that is an invalidation. I think that's one. Although he pushes on ERS in ERS mode 4, no, he sticks it down to ERS mode 0. There was an invalidation from the 4. We saw it on stream, and it's really unlucky because I think he was on for a really good lap time. Let's focus now to Ricky as he comes through Maggots and Beckets. Kept it clean, ERS mode 4, and able to get slipstream from the guy ahead, which really helped him, I think. Going on to Stowe now, make sure you stay within the white lines, which he does just about. Really solid from the racing point. Now onto the last corner, and then quick upshift to the line. Let's see what Ricky can do. 127.2 puts it up into pole position. Really
Lovely.
good job from Ricky.
It's so close in this field right now. The top, well, even the top 10 is separated by 3/10. It's unreal at the moment. I expect the next Ferrari driver is Tichy. He's coming into the final set of corners now. Coming to the final corner, Tichy, 127.5 is his previous best. Is it an improvement? Oh, yes, it is. 126.9 into pole.
Really well done. Going on board now with KV, the other championship contender. He is going through Cops now, so he's on to the end of Sector 2. Let's see what his lap time is looking like. He's got Maggots and Beckets to manage first as the flag is out. So this will be the last chance for KV to put in a good lap. Currently on a 128.0, that's not what he wants. Oh, he's a little cautious through Maggots and Beckets. What's his second time looking like? Oh, he's only a 10th up. It's not looking good for the Mercedes driver.
Yeah, and he can't back out now. The clock has stopped. It just doesn't look good. He just doesn't seem comfortable. And maybe that indicates he's on a wet setup. That has to be.
Has to be, I think so, yeah. I think that's a really good shout. Let's see, there's a McLaren on the right hand side. He goes on to the line, so 127.9. It doesn't gain a position from it. He stays in P15, which is a shame for KV.
Oh, it's crashed, Raycon. Raycon's crashed in the final corner.
Raycon crashed in the final corner. Medi Robo is coming through the final corner now. Let's see if he's gonna get held up. No, he isn't. He goes on to the line. Oh, as he just about improved another position. Stays P3 from Medi Robo. Let's see if there's someone out on track. Tom comes across the line, doesn't improve, and I think that's it.
Elster improves slightly, but no place gained. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah,
That's it.
I think KV is just looking at the car on board. It just looked very slow on the straights and didn't really release out the corners. So I think he's on a wet setup there.
Yep, that must be it, because KV is a lot quicker than P15, and I can tell you that one. He will be, well, if it's not a wet setup, he will be very disappointed. If it's a wet setup, he's got all the chances left to gain positions during the race. But this is it for the Silverstone Grand Prix. Tichy taking P1 with Ricky in P2. Medi Robo, surprisingly enough, although he didn't feel confident in that P3 position. Really good qualifying as well from Kelswak. P4, Raidcon P5, then will be happy with his P6. Connell P7, Sygate P8, Stampy P9, and Steve rounds off the top 10. Sneaky Tom P11, Massa P12, Blades P13, Forza Fredo P14, Cave P15, Mills P16, then Hilton P17. Justin retired in P18, and BVG had his quali ban, so he had to start in P19.
So there you go.
Oh, Tom is in the chat. He says, I was 2/10 up, possibly P4, but I lost it, which is really, really unfortunate. That's really unlucky, because now he is in P11, which could have been P4, as he just said. It is a shame, but wish you all the best for the race, mate. Have a good one. So yeah, of course, like Lewis already said, everyone will start on the wet tire, because it will rain for the start of the race, so we don't have to keep an eye out on the tires, because it will all be the same.
That's it. So it will. I wonder if anyone will risk it. I mean, if it is full heavy rain, the engineer will suggest full wet, so I expect everyone to do that. But if it's a case of the heavy rain is to finish quite early on, some may gamble on the Inter. Although it is still a very big gamble, because the game can still fluctuate between how soon that all changes. But yeah, looking at those conditions, it's that looks very wet out there.
It indeed looks very wet.
It is. This is typical. Actually, no. This is normal summer in the UK. So I'm glad you guys can enjoy this beautiful summer weather we're having right now at Silverstone.
Yeah, I want
Does
to
it?
say something else, but it's it's pretty much the same in the Netherlands. It's not
Yeah, I was
that
about to
big
say,
of a
does it?
difference.
I was about to say, like, is it? Yeah. What's your weather like over in the Netherlands? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
Good
little bit
matches.
better normally, but you got these kind of days in
Yeah.
our summer
Oh yeah.
period as well. It's just how it is. So yeah, it will be interesting to see though when the rain is actually gonna ease off into light rain, and then still because it started already very wet, it will take a little bit longer for before these guys will go on to the inters, and it will be very crucial, as I said, with the long pit straight. It will be a good strategy call to when to come in. Yeah, indeed, confirmed they will be on the blue tires, the wets,
Yeah.
to start off this race as Tichy leads the way for the formation lap, just testing out what the grip level is, because they haven't driven around these kind of conditions yet. So we'll be testing out the waters, which is the best line. Where can I brake? How late can I brake? Will be all depending on this formation lap.
Expect carnage, because particularly in the heavy wet conditions, the track is at its most slipperiest right at the beginning. They got heavy fuel loads, cold tyres, no dry line or drier line. It's just a full wet track out there right now, and they're going to be finding the grip, like you said. Oh, it's going to be fascinating, and particularly these guys who have decided to go on the wet setup. I think they're going to really take advantage of this, but as long as they avoid hit main contact and obviously the spray, the visibility is going to be poor for those guys in the midfield.
Yeah, 100%. The visibility for the guys in the midfield is absolutely dreadful. Tichy will be lucky if he's leading the way into turn 1. He will be lucky to actually see something in front of him, which is a big advantage. I think Ricky and Matty Robert, they will be okay, but from Kels to Swag onwards, I think it will be very tricky to see anything in these kind of conditions.
Absolutely. So we're coming up towards the final sector almost now. Before we start this 26 lap race, so half a full Grand Prix distance, and changeable conditions are in store for today's British Grand Prix in the Tier 3 league.
Now we can put on the position change because we won't have to keep an eye out for the tires, so that's actually good to keep up with for once. So everyone is
What I
now
don't get is the track's already got a drier line, and the guys haven't even gone through this section yet.
Yeah, fair enough. It's probably the stewards helping as well. The marshals getting their work done.
Yeah.
Sure, will be all good as we got 40 people tuning in for the start of this Tier 3 race at Silverstone. A brand new race week for the Console Speed lads as the Tier 3 boys kick it off. As always, dreadful conditions. It's pouring it down like always in England. So let's see what it will bring to us as we got 5 red lights. We wait for the glitch. Stitchy is pulling up the reps now. And away we go for the Silverstone Grand Prix. It's a good start from Ricky. Is he gonna get down the inside of Tichy? I don't think he is. Better exit from Tichy. Oh, Ricky running wide. Ricky almost losing it. And in fact, Ricky is losing it. Ricky losing it. Oh, and he was in P2 and now he's all the way down. There's a Renault off as well. That's Connell losing it. So both Ricky and Connell having to go from the back of the grid. That's not the start they were hoping for. Oh, it's Connell losing it twice now actually.
And one thing I forgot to say, I think both Mercedes guys must have run a wet setup because they were well down the field and they've already made up 2 places for Muzza, 3 places for KV. So I think that's showing that they have gone for the wet setups and they are now taking the advantage in these tricky conditions.
Yeah, 100%. Talking about really good starts. Look at Steve, already gained 4 positions as Dan and Kelsenstrack are going for. And Dan, we actually know he is really good in the rain. He always hopes for rain during the races, and he's actually showing it off now with the Alfa Romeos being in P2 and P3 in the Ferrari Ascent, which they are. Oh, it's Steve.
Oh,
Commentator Skirts, I'm absolutely sorry. Talk about a good start, and there he is on the exit of Kops, and it's Milsey's off as well. It's carnage at Kops.
Oh, Connor almost loses the back end. That corner's so tricky, Stone. Steve, unfortunate for him. Yeah, but at least you got a long way to go in this race still.
You got a long way indeed to go, but it's so unlucky for the guys now behind. 4 guys didn't make it through the first lap, which is really a shame for them. As we got again. Oh my days, what's happening?
Yeah. We had a Ferrari, BBG,
Forza
Fredo's off.
What is going on here?
And Matty Robbo's flying. He's right at the back of Tichy, but the 2 Mercedes guys are in the top 10 already. Muzza gained 4, KV gained 6. But Matty, so they're the big winners. And Dan Hilton.
Oh, it's Tichy off onto the grass. He clipped the grass while braking, which actually lost him the car. And that's the both Alfa Romeos through as they are leading now this Silverstone Grand Prix of Matty Robbo in P1 and X47 in P2. Oh, there's again the car off. It's Milsey's. Yes, it's Milsey's coming out of the pits. He lost it.
The last one for the
archives.
Movements, archives. Yes, Dan Hilton, Justin, Steve. A lot of people with damage in that first one, and Steve's gone out on Inters. And I think a few of them might have gone on to Inters. Oh no.
No, it's only Steve.
Right.
Surprised by his decision, because it's still raining very hard here at Silverstone. There's clearly no grip at all, and I think it's Stampy overtaking Tichy. It is. It's probably a multi-21. It's Stampy saying to Tichy, mate, I've got the pace. I can catch those Alfa Romeos. Let me get past. That's exactly what they did. As Kelselsweg is holding off the field. Oh, there's also Raidcon struggling through Megas and Beckers. In fact, Kelselsweg is struggling through Megas and Beckers as well, with 2 Mercs behind him, and I think it's KV now getting past Mazza. No, it's not. Side by side, but Mazza stays in front, so it's Kelselsweg forming a little bit of a train behind him. As the Alfa Romeos are leading into lap 3.
Yeah, Kelselsweg is struggling a little bit. Dan does have the fastest lap though, 1:46.9. He is only half a second behind his teammate. I'm sure neither of those two will get up to any mischief. Oh, Raycon goes wide in turn 1. And that allows both Mercedes guys through. Those guys making some brilliant inroads now, P6 and P7.
KV coming from P15, already gained 8 positions into this race. We're only 3 laps in. We're not even 3 laps in, we've just done 2. He's already up into P7, and his teammate Mazza is doing a brilliant job as well as they're fighting the Ferraris in the Constructors battle. But I think now with Alfa Romeo in P1 and P2, in fact, Matty Robbo has let Dan through in this race. Dan is leading here at Silverstone. He's doing a brilliant job at this point in the race. Oh, there's yellow again. Is that? I think that's Dan Hilton.
Yeah.
Dan Hilton lost it again coming out of turn 1.
Yeah, Muzza's set the personal best first sector and is flying, but they got to make the hay while the sun shines, because when this track dries out, their setup will be, well, it won't be the best setup again, so they will be sitting ducks later in this race. So they have to make, this is one of the issues with starting so far back. They had so much work to do, and really they want to be out in the front and pulling away, and he gets very close to the Red Bull there, Muzza, to Kelselsweg, and that compromised him a bit.
Oh, Stampy picks up 5 seconds for exceeding track limits, as he is on the back of Matty Robbo. That could cost him at the end of the race. Oh, and Mazza struggling on exit. Look at the time we lost to Kelselsweg, and I think KV is begging now to get past his teammate. Oh, and Raidcon is going to put on the pressure as well from Cygate behind. Is Cygate going to go for the move? I don't think he is, because he's a little bit too far away to make a move in these kind of conditions. See what Stampy can do, although Raidcon lost it. Oh, he almost lost it coming out of turn 3, but he held it.
Yeah, Raycon is not happy in these conditions right now.
Ooh.
Oh, we got another yellow. I think that's BVG.
That's BVG. Indeed, he is. Up into turn 2, he's struggling, and KV going for the move, but he couldn't. make it work. Of course, he doesn't want to risk anything because it is his teammate in front of him. Aston Hilton, DNF, yeah, in the pits, so that's all good. He has given up on this one.
Yeah, the two Mercedes guys really hassling Kelsterswag. They know the top 4 are only just ahead. And obviously Tichy's getting dropped. Tichy's 3.3 behind his teammate now. So the top 3 are in a different league in terms of pace.
Yep, it's probably those 3 on a wet setup, and Tichy probably the first one to be on a dry setup, except of the both Mercedes drivers, because they are pushing to get past Kelstrak. But Kelstrak, to be fair to him, is doing a brilliant job to keep them behind in P5.
He's got less downforce. Here we go. Almost as having a look.
Mazza.
Don't shut the door. Kelsa keeps the door open.
Gives him the room. Now on exit, maybe trying the switchback for Mazza. Is he gonna pull it off? Oh, Kelstrak closing the door, which is fair enough. Had all the right to do so. And now up into turn 1 is Mazza, thinking about a move. Up into turn 2, we've got to wait and see. Now up into turn 3, is he gonna go for the move? No, he sticks behind. As Kelstrak is actually gaining on Tichy as well. He's putting Tichy under pressure.
Yeah, with these guys ahead on dry setups, they're going to have the advantage down the straights. It's going to make it hard for the Mercedes duo to overtake. Dan Hilton's car is...
Yeah, Dan Hilton is still on track, but he's ghosting, so it's all good. Just goes through it, so that should be all good now. Focus back on the battle for P4. Brilliant train here from Tichy, Kelstrak, Mazza and KVS. Raycon is losing out at this point, which is a shame. He got past Saige. In fact, Saige must have pitted. Yep, he did. He pitted on Inters. He's the first one to go out on Inters, so we need to keep an eye out for the gap between Saige and Forza Fredo, because as soon as Saige is gaining, there will be the signal for these guys to come in for the intermediate tires. But now we've got to focus on the battle, because Kelstrak needs to defend from Mazza. Is Mazza gonna go for the move down the inside? He probably has to go round the outside, as he just doesn't have the grip in these kind of conditions to make the move. So he has to stay in P6. In fact, they're pitting. Good shout. Both Ferraris are in.
Yeah, I don't know if that's not going to work, is it?
That's going to be a very tricky situation. We keep an eye out for Stumpy. Goes into the pits for intermediates.
He's going to lose a bit of time.
He's got his 5 seconds to serve as well.
This is disaster.
Oh no, and now Mazza's going to get held up as well because of Tichy. Look at Mazza. Look at Mazza. Oh, this is horrendous for both Tichy and Mazza. They lost out big time, and this is brilliant to see for the Alfa Romeos, because Dan is already out on track. Matty Robo is leading the way, and they will be way in front of the rest of the grid at this point.
So obviously I'm guessing the teams have been given, the engineers have given the drivers the go ahead. Kelsterswag's gone deep! Kelsterswag's almost spun, and KV has took second place because of that. So Kelsterswag losing the grip. I think those tyres are starting to overheat a little bit. KV so much faster now, and it'll be interesting to see this last lap. I'm guessing Matty, Robbo and KV will be pitting, but KV's got so much more speed. He's left Kelsterswag for dead.
Yeah, 100%. Look at how much he's gaining on Matty Robbo as well. It's probably because Matty Robbo doesn't want to take any risks now, as he needs to make his stop now. But KV is on rails at this point of the race. Look at that amount of time he's gaining through Mackets and Beckett's, almost a second in just a couple of corners. Really, he's definitely gonna be, maybe he is gonna challenge Dan coming out of the pits, although it's a really long pit. I don't think that's gonna happen, but he will be way in front of Stumpy.
Well,
so Matty Robbo, KV, Kelstrak are in, and Connell will follow.
Yeah, this thing, the guys on the wet setup just have so much more grip. The guys on the dry, I think, have just overcooked their tyres. And yeah, it was a nightmare for those guys. Alright, so the Mercedes in the pits. And KV has no issues whatsoever. So these guys that are pitted now, I think, should get an advantage. Dan is gonna...
look at how much faster the intermediates are.
Yeah.
Because Dan is already in front, and I think Stumpy is gonna overtake them. Never mind what I just said, threw it out of the window. Because Kavy will drop down behind these guys.
But Matty does stay in P2. But yeah, he did lose a massive amount of time.
Yeah, look at this. Kavy rejoins just in front of Massa. Well, Massa got held up by Ditchy, who had to wait for Stumpy to serve his 5 seconds. And then after that waiting for his pit crew to be ready to change the tires as well. So that's the amount of time these guys lost staying out an extra lap. Of course they had no choice because their teammate was in front.
Millsy's tied in the pits.
Yep, yellow, that's Millsy. So that's both Haas drivers now out of this race. They're having a terrible race here at Silverstone, and Günther Steiner will not be happy.
And Steve going on the inters, it has actually worked for him because he's now up to P13. So he was once in the middle of nowhere. He is now only 3 places and not far away from the points.
Not far away. He's in a train with Tichy, Connell, Ricky and Blades. So indeed he is looking for some points as his teammate is fighting with Kavy. Oh, is Kavy gonna... No way, Kavy's gonna go around the outside. Oh, Raikkonen shuts the door in front of Kavy. Now Kavy with the slipstream. Is he gonna be able to get past the McLaren? Let's see, is he gonna go for the move down the inside? He thinks about it. Raikkonen defense.
Yeah, look at that. Dan's flying.
Dan is flying at this point of the race. Doing a brilliant job in P1. And look at this, Stumpy now with the fast lap of the race. He is putting Matty Robbo under some big pressure going into turn 3.
Yeah, Dan, if Dan does have a wet setup on later in this race, he is going to be caught up, so he needs to pull the gap now if he wants to have a chance. I don't know what Stumpy's running. I'm guessing Stumpy's on the dry setup. Well, I don't 100% know myself either with that one.
Stumpy just, yeah, he's not having the straight line speed to overtake Matty Robbo, so he's got to do it on pure traction. Maybe putting him under pressure, forcing Matty Robbo into a mistake. But for now, Alfa Romeo stays in P2 with his teammate, leading this race as we actually got a battle on our hands between Raikkonen and Kavy.
Yeah, they've been at it into that section, into what we guess you call the old last corner. They were side by side, and then almost side by side yet again. The Mercedes cars have so much more power, but it's such a tricky track to overtake on, especially in the wet. I think just with that, around this section now, Maggots and Beckett's, even though there's slower speeds and you're in the wet, you still get that issue of the dirty air. And the Mercedes guys are just not close enough.
Not close enough to make a move. In fact, Raikkonen is getting a slipstream from Cygate in front of him as well. It's not a DRS train yet. We've got to wait for the dry conditions, but it certainly is a slipstream train, so to say. Yeah, and these Mercedes, they will be very frustrated not being able to get past the guys in front.
Raikkonen went a bit deep, almost went into the back of Cygate, but still holds on to P5. And I've got to say, Thomas, we're only just started lap 9 of 26.
Yeah, it's amazing. There's so much happening in this race. It's amazing. Oh, I think Kavy, I think he had a moment where he was thinking about making a move, but he thought better of it. Keeps it in ERS mode 1, stays in second gear, of course, for the better traction. And Raikkonen is struggling. He was on the curb from exit, and I think Kavy is gonna go for the move now. Side by side, puts it up into ERS mode 4 on the inside of that McLaren, and I think this should be job done for the Mercedes. In fact, it is job done for the Mercedes. Really good job from Kavy. Got past Raikkonen. Cygate is the next target.
All Muzzers having a little go, but got the back end out. But he'll try again. So no luck for Muzzer.
Yeah, you can already see Kavy pulling away from Raikkonen. 8 tenths now is the gap. We saw Raikkonen struggling, of course, but it just shows how much pace these Mercedes cars have compared to the rest of the field. Look at this now. Is Kavy gonna push on and gonna overtake the Toro Rosso in front of him? He puts in the fastest sector 2 in this race, which absolutely shows his pace around this track in these kind of conditions. And Saike will be thinking, when is this Mercedes gonna get past, and am I gonna be able to keep this guy behind? As Dan puts in the fast lap of the race, immediately gives an answer to the purple sector 2 of KV.
Yeah, this track is definitely drying out with each lap going quicker and quicker. I think we will be looking at dries in the next 5 to 8 laps, I reckon. You know, probably the halfway point maybe is where we're going to see that. And KV putting him right under some serious pressure now. Saigate doesn't look to pop it down the inside. He's going to try and... He's trying to get a better run by going wider so he didn't have to take such a tight angle on the steering. And that helps with a better release out of the corner. Down the Wellington straight. Here we go. KV down the inside. This should be an easy move. But Saigate's not giving up. He holds it round. And then backs out because KV didn't leave him with much more room there. So nope. KV now for P4.
KV shut the door, made sure he got the P4 sorted, and now it's time to push and get close to Medirobo and Stampy in front of him. Talking about Medirobo and Stampy, let's have a look at how they are doing at this point of the race, going through Maggots and Beckett's. Now 8.4 seconds is the gap between Dan and Medi. Dan is pulling away almost half a second a lap, which is a lot on this track. Let's see, Stampy puts it in ERS mode 4. Is he quick enough? Does he have the straight line speed to get past? No, he doesn't. And we need to keep an eye out on KV. Is he quick enough to close in on these guys? That will be the question.
Fastest second sector again from KV, carrying so much more speed in that section because he's now got clean air. The next lap will be an interesting time to see what his true pace is like and if he can catch up to those leading trio. He has got quite a lot of work to do though. It's 5 seconds between himself and Stumpy. And Muzza has not been able to progress at all. He's still behind Saigate and Raycon.
He will be kicking himself, seeing his teammate pulling away and closing in on the guys in front while he is still stuck behind that McLaren. He's looking at the back end of that McLaren for almost, what is it, 7 laps already. You will be very frustrated. Let's see, Stampy not being able to get past Medirobo. There's a big battle going on for P11 as well, actually. As Ricky is trying to defend his P11, his Pure Blades able to get past. He's getting put under pressure from Steve. Is Steve gonna go for the move? No, he's not. Stays in P13 for now as Forza Fredo's trying to hold on to this train as well.
And just to point out, KV is flying. He's already taken 8 tenths out of Stumpy. And it's not even, we're just at the halfway point of the lap. So, KV is absolutely now it's full. He carries so much more speed through the Maggots and Beckett's. He is under 4 seconds now. Massive gain. I think we're looking at KV setting the new fastest lap here.
KV is flying at this point of the race. Fredo picks up 3 seconds, which is very unlucky for the Toro Rosso driver. And we can actually see Medirobo pulling away from Stampy as Dan again sets the fastest lap of the race. But as you said, is KV gonna take the fastest lap from him? He is 140.8, which is 8 tenths quicker. What a lap from the Mercedes driver.
Yeah, he is going to catch him in the next couple of laps. He is absolutely flying on that setup right now. So things he would have done on the wet setup is it had more downforce. The tyre pressures would have been slightly different. The whole suspension geometry, suspension in general, would have been a little bit tweaked, and all designed to give better grip in these conditions. It's all about that mechanical grip as well as the downforce levels increasing, and it all helps dramatically in these conditions.
Yep, Mazda was looking to make a move on Raycon, but once again it didn't work. So he's probably gonna be stuck behind him for another lap as Saike is holding on to that P5. He had to let KV go. Looking at his pace, which that is very understandable, but he's holding on to that P5 compared to Raycon and Mazda. And Kelselswag is just not being able to keep up with the pace. Same goes on for Ditchy, actually. Showed some good pace during qualifying, but he's just lacking pace in the race, which is not a good sign for the championship standings.
Absolutely.
So now going back to P2, and the Robo still staying in front of Stumpy. He's doing a brilliant job for his teammate Dan, but in fact he is closing in on Dan. I saw the gap being 8.4 seconds at some point during this race, as KV puts in another fastest lap. I saw the gap being 8.4 seconds, and now the gap is 7.8, so Medirobo is slowly getting into the rhythm, as I think. Did it stop raining? No, it's still raining, but very lightly. You can just see little drops coming down, but it's not much. So I think we will be entering a dry period very soon.
Yeah, KV now is a clear second faster than anyone else's previous bests, which is some going, to be fair. He is he's on rails. He's driving this track like it's dry, not wet. And really good lap pace by the Mercedes driver, and he's now only 2.7 behind Stumpy.
Yeah, Stumpy slowly closing in again on Medirobo, maybe just cooling down those intermediate tires, gaining a little bit of ERS. He's still got 60% left on ERS, so that should be all good. But he knows KV is coming as well. He's feeling the pressure already. So maybe this is the sign for Stumpy to push and try to get past that Alfa Romeo in front of him. Talking about pushing, that's what Mazda is doing at this point of the race as well. 2/10 is the gap. ERS mode 3, he is not gonna go for the move, I think. Nope, he stays in P7 going through Stowe.
I think the other thing as well for Stumpy that's got him going is he can see the amount that KV is closing in on him. So I think this has forced Stumpy to up the stakes here, up the risks by going a little bit hard, a little bit faster, because he doesn't want to be the one who has to defend from KV. He wants to get ahead of Matty now, so that Matty's the one who has to worry about KV and start defending, and he'll hope he can pull away. So I think that's what's going on at the moment. KV is only 2.3 behind now.
Yeah, 100%. Look at Stumpy. Look how close he is. Medirobo going defensive into turn 6, I think it is. And Stumpy just couldn't do anything. Oh, and there's a yellow. And that's Stitchy. That's Stitchy and Connell colliding. And Stitchy losing out on P9. And this is just not helping his race. He's got a full front wing still, so that should be all good. But he lost out on a lot of time. Going back to now to the battle for P2. Just as I said that Medirobo was closing in on his teammate, he lost time again, and it's almost 8.4 seconds again. So yeah, that's my second comment out of the window.
Well, Tichy, starting on pole, has not been happy at all in these wet conditions. Showed no pace, and I'm sure he'll be quick when it's dry at the end of the race, but we're still not even halfway through this yet, and if there's a safety car, it could change everything once again. Dan will be praying for no safety car throughout this race.
Yeah, 100%. And I think with the gap being 8.5 seconds, it should be enough to both make a pit stop at the same time as soon as we go on to the dry tires. I think 8.8 seconds is just about enough to not get held up for Medirobo. As I say that DRS is enabled. DRS is enabled, but it's still raining.
Well, I just noticed the lap times have dropped dramatically. I think these guys need to go onto slicks, because they're over a second and a half slower and they're sliding all over the place.
And look at Steve and Ricky.
Yeah.
They're taking full advantage.
KV is not really gaining on the guys ahead anymore. He's 1.7, but the gap is not as big as it was before in terms of the amount of time he's gaining. He's a little bit more glued, though, to the track than the others.
Yep,
so
and Mazda got past Raidcon, so people starting to get more confident as soon as the DRS got enabled. Stumpy putting it under pressure, and Mazda is putting Saige under full pressure now. He got past Raidcon, finally for him. And he's looking to get past the Toro also now, so Steve is leading the way on those slick tires coming out of the pits
Steve,
now.
He's in mediums, Ricky softs, BVG soft, Sneaky Tom mediums, Justin soft. So the guys on softs, I'm guessing, will have to pit again, or can they squeeze it out? There's 11 laps to go.
And look at Dan, what is he gonna do? He is gonna come into the pits. It will be very interesting to see on what tire he will go on.
Do you put softs or mediums on at this rate? That's the thing, and Matty is pitting.
Yeah, Matty is in. The gap is long enough, I think. Oh, he picks up 5 seconds speeding into the pits. That could cost him. That could cost his podium.
Well, it is. It's going to definitely put him behind Stumpy and KV. Yeah, I think he's got enough of a gap between himself and Cygate, though. So here we go. So the Ferrari guys, they go for softs. Oh, they weren't ready for him. Oh, they were. Sorry, it was just for a minute there. I thought they weren't.
Oh yeah, Medirobo. Oh, Medirobo coming just out in front of Cave, but he lost out on Stumpy because his team was not ready enough to make the pit stop immediately. So that's Medirobo now in P3 with that 5-second penalty. And the question will be: we saw KV flying during those wet conditions. Will he be flying through these dry conditions as well? I think that will be a very important question. We need to keep an eye out on that Mercedes to see what he is gonna do, and I think Stumpy now will hunt down the Alfa Romeo in front of him. Ooh, and look at Steve.
Absolutely.
Ooh, Steve onto the grass, picks up 3 seconds with it.
Well, he's on those mediums.
Yep, comes out in front of Connell. Yeah, but it's a really strange decision. I just don't understand why people will go onto mediums, because those softs will make it till the end very easily. Maybe they're thinking they got more grip on those mediums. Oh, Steve is gonna make a move on Kelsen Swag. Kelsen Swag runs deep, side by side.
Both these guys on mediums, those two, so they're going to be struggling a little bit more tyre temp, while the soft runner of Connell is going to be all over the back of them.
Brilliant move from the McLaren. Brilliant helicopter view as well. Now into Cops, side by side. This is not gonna end well.
Oh, Kelsen Swag goes deep.
Oh, it did end well, but Connell got past. Look at Connell taking full advantage of Kelsen Swag running wide into Cops. So that's Steve up into P9 and Connell up into P10, and Kelsen Swag losing 2 positions in one corner as Connell picks up 3 seconds in the process. And is Ricky gonna get past on those softs? DRS is open. DRS mode 4 enabled, and I think he is gonna go for the move. Oh, look at Mazza corner cutting and gain the position.
Oh, Ricky runs wide. Ricky runs really wide. Doesn't gain any place in the end. Also gets a speeding penalty. So Dan is 9.5 clear at the moment. Stumpy is right under pressure from Matty Robbo. And KV's already losing time as expected. KV, with that wet setup, is not going to be able to stay up with these guys. And this is the problem with doing this. He's got the second half of this whole race to be trying to hold off. Thankfully, he's got a big gap between himself and Cygate. But it's not going to be an enjoyable run now for the Mercedes driver.
Yep, Matty Robbo got past Stumpy during the DRS straight as he needs to defend for his teammate as well, leading the way. 9.4 seconds, which is a pretty confident gap. Matty Robbo, of course, with those 5 seconds, he will be thinking we need to pull away from KV as much as possible. If he will, looking at the gap with 1.7 seconds now, if he's gonna push for the remainder 9 laps, he maybe can get it to a 5-second gap.
I think he will, because KV with this wet setup has no straight line speed, and it's a telltale, because through Magnus and Beckett's, KV gains. Why would he gain? Because he's got more downforce, because he's on that wet setup. But everywhere else, down the straights and coming out of these corners, there's no release on that car, and he's just losing time now. He's over 2 seconds behind Stumpy already, and Matty's just set the fastest lap of the race.
Ooh, people picking up penalties left, right and center now. Oh, look at the battle for P11 between Kelsen Swag and Tichy. Kelsen Swag stays in P11. Tichy, of course, on I think a dry setup, is trying to make his way through the field once again. After having lost all those positions from the start, he's looking to gain positions again now. And Stumpy, oh, this is crucial, outside of that 1 second window.
Yeah.
1.1 seconds, now 1.2 seconds, so he needs to push now through Meckets and Beckett's to make sure he stays within that 1 second to gain DRS on the hanger straight.
Yeah, Tichy shame for him. He's really dropped down in those wet conditions. But P12 from starting on pole. Ricky started second, he's P10. But Tichy, showing his dry pace, he's already set the fastest first sector of the race. Obviously DRS aided, but now it's all working for him in his favour. Kelsey defends really well, and yet Abels doesn't run too deep either. So far, really good job as Raycon gets a penalty.
So far so good. Yeah, people picking up a lot of penalties now, so I just don't know. We just see until the end of the race what these penalties are gonna do with the final standings. Matt Robbo again with the fast lap. Tichy now with DRS going. He has to go the long way round. Is he gonna make it on those shots? He would have more grip, but Kelsey actually defends pretty well. Now closes the inside. Tichy has to go again round the outside, but he makes it work.
That's nice.
Now down the inside, and that's a brilliant move from the Ferrari. Gets past the Red Bull. Really well done from Tichy. That's a really good move.
Classy indeed. The Stumpy, just about in DRS, but for Matty Robbo, it's not really an immediate threat. I think Matty, if he keeps this pace, will easily be able to hold P3.
Ooh, Dan picking up 3 seconds.
Which he can survive with for now.
Yep, but at this point of the race, Stumpy will go up into P2. And I don't know how many penalties Dan has. I think this is his first one.
Look. I think it was Dan's first one as well, to be fair. Yeah, so he's had 3 warnings. That's why so he's only had 3. One set
fair
of 3
enough.
seconds.
He should be good till the end of the race with now, included this one, 7 laps to go. Look at Steve, he's defending from Ricky on those softs. Ricky has to go round the outside, but he makes it. Gets the job done.
Lovely job.
Brilliant move from Ricky up into P9 as he is looking to get Connell now, which is with 2.1 seconds in front. Steve should be good for P10 as he got Kelsey 4.2 seconds behind. Oh, Tichy make contact with Kelsey. Oh, they're both round. It's carnage through the last corner, and that's BVG taking full advantage of it, going up into P11 now. And I think that's Tichy with wing damage.
Yeah, it is. It's wing damage for Tichy, and Kelsey is going to be able to come through again straight away, but the two of them are not going to be happy. Oh, Kelsey spins on his own. He loses the rear end, Kelsey spins, and that is his chances of points over.
Oh, he's holding up his teammate as well. Sneaky Tom is liking this a lot. Look at Sneaky Tom. DRS is wide open. That's one. Is he gonna... No! Kelsey Swag.
Oh no!
And Tom.
Oh, this could be a safety car.
It is a safety car.
Oh my god! Dan and Matty Robbo. I was about to say Matty Robbo was going to have to defend from Stumpy because of how close it was. I didn't see what happened. I only saw the aftermath after you said, "Oh, and Matty Robbo pits." It's a last-minute call.
Yeah,
he's going to get rid.
He's going to get rid of those 5 seconds, and I think that is a really good move. But Dan will be kicking himself at this point.
He'll be sweating. He'll be sweating indeed. And sweating, not swearing, well, probably both, swearing and sweating right now, because as Matty Robbo does his 5 seconds, and will also then do a tyre swap, it's one of those, I don't know whether it is better or not to do. I suppose he will have a fresh set of softs, but he's now on court, he's going to be outside the points. But also, no, okay, granted, he was going to get a 5-second penalty anyway, and everyone would be costed up, but the field does spread very quickly, and I don't think he would, he's going to have to rely now on getting those places back up. So he's P10, and he will have those guys, he will have 6 to 5 laps fresh as softs. We're going to have an exciting, he's going to have to attack these last few laps.
He will have to, and this is actually a pretty good opportunity for Tichy to get back into this race. Of course, with that wing damage, it was points. Yeah, you could just see them flying away. And now they're back. So, being in P14, he's got some job to do. don't get me wrong, but knowing Tichy, he should be able to do it. But then with that 3 second is kicking himself now for picking those ones up. He thought he was confident, he thought he had the job done. But there you are, behind the safety car and having a Ferrari within a second now. Can you give us an update about the penalties all the way down now for the top guys, because that will be very important now.
Okay, so we have got, let's have a look. So penalty wise, Justin's 5 second penalty. Big. So Dan we know has 3 second penalty. Matty Robbo's obviously done his penalty. Mozza has a 5 second time penalty, which he in lap 16 he got a 5 second time penalty. He's got 3. So yeah, it's only Dan who's got the 3 second penalty in that top list. So the next person to have penalties is Muzza. Muzza got a 5 second penalty, which I guess he got in the pits maybe? For speeding,
yeah, but I
possibly?
think with now going on to the soft ones again, he should got rid of it.
But Muzza didn't pit in the safety car period. It was lap
No,
16
I know.
he got it.
It was lap 16 he got, okay, so he picked it up when he went on to those soft tires.
Yeah,
okay,
that's
fair
what I'm
enough, so he
thinking.
still got those 5 seconds then, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, so it's only Muzza. Raycon's got 3 seconds, Connell's got 3 seconds, Ricky's got 3 seconds, so really, it's only Dan in the top 4 that has penalties so far.
That is very unlucky.
Ooh! Oh, Dan! Don't do that. That was literally the same corner as Hamilton did. Almost went into the back of the safety car in Silverstone, real life. I think that race was 2016. Got a feeling.
My days, that
That
was
would have been
so close.
That would have been a heartbreaker for Dan.
Question will be, is the safety car gonna come in this lap, or is he gonna wait for the Toro Rosso and the Red Bull to come in? The answer is, I think, staying out for one more lap, which is not ideal for Dan at this point.
Forza Fredo spun, and he's lost his wing. I reckon he's crashed it. I don't know how.
He lost it during the safety car.
Yes, sorry, he didn't lose front wing, but he has lost it, under safety car conditions.
Okay, that's interesting. We move. So another lap.
Yep, lap 23 of 26. So we have got a 4-lap shootout.
4-lap shootout, and I think we will be seeing this X to the 4, to the 2, to the 7 losing out on a lot of positions during the end of the race, unless people are gonna go for some crazy moves. He will lose out on a lot of position. Of course, people will go for some. Oh, as he almost runs into the safety car again. He's being risky today. Yeah, people will go for some outrageous moves till the end of the race, so that should gain him a little bit of time. But other than that, I don't see him pulling away 3 seconds. Of course, you never know. Maybe he's got the pace. But Stumpy will be looking to get that P1 and pull away from the rest of the field. Of course, we got KV. Well, we saw him struggling during these dry conditions, so it will be very interesting to see what he can do compared to the guys behind. And Cygate, surprisingly enough, being in P4, which is a prime position for the Toro also. And with Connell and Ricky having, they had those troubles in lap 1, turn 1. They're now back up into P7 and P8, which absolutely shows why you should always continue on. And then going to P10, we got Matty Robbo, and he's been so unlucky this race. Was leading for maybe, I think it was like 5 laps or something. Now being in P10, of course he got rid of his 5 seconds, which in my opinion was a good move, but now he needs to make up all of that time again, back up into the points and maybe even the podium. He's got 1 point now. Are there gonna be more points on the horizon? We've got to wait and see. Safety comes in this lap. We switch back to the other Alfa Romeo for the safety car restart. He backs it up, keeps it in DRS mode 4, and when is it time for Dan to go?
Yeah, this is going to be... I mean, KV as well is another one who's not going to be happy about this, because I think he's going to be a sitting duck to Sidegate. Oh, Sidegate briefly went past him. But here we go.
Oh, Dan went.
To go for it.
Yep, really good restart for the Alfa Romeo. He caught Stumpy sleeping a little bit, but it should be fine. Oh, and it's already people going for moves. Is Raycon getting past Massa even before start finish line? BVG getting past his teammate. It's all kicking off now with 3 laps to go. It's a sprint race till the end, till the checkered flag, and I think that's Raycon. No, it was. Oh, Ricky and BVG going at it. Oh no!
No! And Matty Robbo got caught in that, and I'm pretty sure Matty got wing damage. I'm not 100% sure, but it's chaos. Yeah, he did get a bit of wing damage from that, so he's going to struggle to really gain much more.
All free wide. Look at Tichy and... Oh, this is so close. Ridiculously moved from BVG. He did it on purpose, trying to get rid of Ricky. Not a good move from BVG at all.
Oh, it's a great scrap though, with Steve holding Tichy, Justin all behind. And obviously the first 2 laps, no DRS. So these guys have to do it fair and square through their straight line speed. Tichy lining Steve up here at the hanging straight. This is for P9. He's looking down the inside. Steve's going to shut the door. He's not close enough alongside him for that move.
And BVG and Justin now going side by side. Justin now has the inside. Oh, loses it on exit on the grass. There's both Red Bulls now on P15 and P16.
Yeah,
what is happening in this race?
We're on the penultimate lap, Thomas. We're nearly there. And Dan is still leading provisionally, but unfortunately for him, with that 3-second penalty, he's going to fall back at the moment. Let's have a look. If we go to leader, he's on the cusp of P5. He's just ahead of Raycon at the moment. So he would move into P4. At the moment, he'd be hanging in P4. Yeah, it's a shame for Matty Robbo getting that wing damage. Obviously, having fresher softs is helping him at the moment. But he would have, unfortunately for him, the gamble, I think, of pitting to serve his penalty, I'm not sure it's worked out right.
Nope, definitely not. And he's got a big gap to Connell in front of him, and I don't think he will be able to close that one down. Oh, Steve picks up 3 seconds. That could be crucial. Let's now go to the fight, actually. For P9, I think it is. Yeah, it's Steve defending from Tichy. No DRS as of yet. That will be enabled on the last lap, I think. Is Tichy gonna go the long way around?
Yeah,
he is.
Oh, and Stumpy gives 3 seconds. Oh, that changed it. KV now has a chance of winning. Oh, this has got exciting.
Oh, we need to... Oh, this is gonna be too much to handle on the last lap. Okay, we firstly go to Dan and Stumpy. They will be the first one to come across the first DRS straight. Let's see what Dan can do. I think he should be able to hold on to this one. He will be fine. So then we switch to KV, as he should be able to hold on as well. There's yellow in sector 1. That's a Red Bull.
It's clear though, it's all good. But this could change things now, because Dan is 2.5 seconds clear of KV. To make that 2.8, KV can't keep that pace because of being on that wet setup, and he's got a whole train of people behind him. So at the moment, Dan could now win this race. It's super, super close, because that battle for P3 is intensifying. Oh, Dan is going to be... I mean, if he's not listening to this feed right now, he's probably kicking himself. Oh, he runs a bit deep. That's not the best exit.
Steve is off into the wall.
Oh no!
That's his race over on the last lap.
What a shame.
KV needs to hold on. He's got 5 tenths to play with. He's got 5 tenths left in this race to make sure he gets P1. Let's go on to Dan, as he is gonna come across the start-finish line now. He will take P1 for now, but how long will it be? P1, Stampy takes P2, is KV gonna take P1? He is gonna take P1, Psyche takes P3, Raidcon P5, Connor P6, Manny Robo Pure Blaze is gonna score points. He's gonna get P9 in this race. No, he's not. P10, it stays P10. And Kelswag is the last one. Oh my days, what was happening the last lap?
Oh, by a tenth of a second. KV nicks it. Unreal. And it was all because he was actually way off, but that higher downforce helped him through Maggots and Beckett, so he caught a massive amount of time back up again, as he would do with that downforce. But then lost, I did worry about him. It was half a second, but that final section, it's not great for his setup, but he just held on in the end. And is going to take a surprising victory from starting 16th on the grid. Fantastic.
Absolutely brilliant race from KV, as he is getting the votes for driver of the day, which in my opinion is absolutely right. So this is how it stands. It's KV P1, Dan P2, Sygate P3, Stampy P4, Raidcon P5, Connor P6, Manny Robo really unlucky with the P7, Mazza P8, Tichy P9, and Blades taking a point in P10. Kelswag P11, Ricky P12, Justin P13, BVG P14. Let's see, Forza Fredo P15, Steve P16, Sneaky Tom P17, Millsy's P18, and then Hilton in P19. But those racing points have got something to talk about. And yeah, other than that, it just shows that staying clean, staying out of the penalties, actually helps you in the race, in case you didn't know already.
Absolutely. So I'm just doing the invite, I'm suggesting the players. Who was it finished third in the end? Was it
Saige, but he already left the session, so I don't think he will be joining the commentary box, but you can always try, otherwise we're just gonna do it with the other two.
Okay.
Fair enough. Gonna allow them to the party as we're waiting for the guys to join the commentary box so we can ask them some questions about this once again crazy race at Silverstone. I remember the last race at Silverstone when I was commentating the Tier 2. It was a crazy race as well, and once again they put off a great fight.
Yeah, great. I mean, the safety car undid Dan's work in the end through that crazy moment of madness on the Wellington Straight, and a great end to a dramatic ending once again.
Crazy ending of this race. KV already joined the commentary box. It's waiting for Dan now to join as well, so we can start off with the interviews. There he is. You guys probably already have it, but make sure your audio is unallowed to be shared, and then we can start with the interviews very shortly. So, with that being said, we're gonna start with RP2. Dan, yeah, probably gonna be very disappointed about what happened during the last laps of the race. You were leading with a very confident gap, and then the safety car came out. What were you thinking at that point when you saw it coming out?
I can't say that on a PG channel. Honestly, the thing is, I wouldn't have minded if it was 10 seconds earlier, because I would have stopped, put on fresh rubber, and then I'd have been able to fly to the end. But the fact I'd just gone past the pit entry.
Yeah, that's just so unlucky for you. And
Um,
then after that, it was your teammate who came into the pit, served his 5 seconds, but that didn't pay off as well. It could have been so much more for the Alfa Romeos. But getting the P2, still happy, or is it just pure frustration at this point?
if you'd said P2 to me before we'd started the race, I'd have been happy with it. After it, no,
No, 100% not.
no,
Yeah.
that should have been top step. And I've just got to hope KV was a naughty boy to get it back.
Yeah, that's probably your only hope for now. Yeah, we knew that you are really. So hello Thomas. We knew that you are really quick during the wet conditions. Did you had a wet setup on as well, or was it just pure pace advantage you had today?
A bit of both, actually. I went with a wet setup, but then set it for dry wings. So the suspension was set for wet weather and what have you, but
Fair enough.
wing-wise it was dry, and it worked, especially at the start of the race. Because the longer it stayed full wet, the slower I would have been.
Okay, yeah, fair
Um,
enough. Yeah,
Considering it went straight to Inters. As soon as on the formation lap, we had Jeff in the ear saying Inters might be better.
okay.
Um, so as soon as we swapped over, it was plain sailing.
Fair
But then
enough.
when dry weather came, the KV and Stumpy coming out of the woodwork. But Matt did a great job of holding them off.
Yeah, he did a
And
brilliant
then the
job.
safety car came up, and the rest, as they say, is history.
Yeah, really unlucky, mate. But I'm still gonna congratulate you on the P2. Really good job, and hopefully
Cheers,
you're
mate.
gonna have some more luck in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, cheers, mate.
Going on to a race winner once again, KV. Welcome back on the top step once again. Just what a chaotic race it must have been for you, starting and coming from P15 already up into P8 after just 2 laps. What a brilliant start you had. Just tell us through how those first 2 laps were.
Yeah, what an insane race. I'm so shattered after that. Yeah, I went full wet setup. That's why I was so slow. Um, and I thought it weren't going to pay off in the end because I thought by the time it went dry, I would have fell back. But during the wet and into tyre, I was on fire. I'm not gonna lie. And I knew all I needed was just a gap I just needed clean air today. I eventually got it during the inter stint and managed to catch up to Stumpy and Matty, which when it comes to the dry phase of the race, I knew that I needed the guys in front were going to pull away. Um, yeah, it was an insane race. I can't wait to watch it back.
Yeah, 100% mate, you need to watch it back. It was an absolutely brilliant one. Did you know that the guys in front of you had 3 seconds of time penalty, or was it a big surprise for you as soon as you came on to the finish flag that you were P1?
Yeah, I didn't know I won until I got past the finish line. I checked the penalties like during the safety car, but they didn't have penalties, so obviously the guys were pushing at the front. I managed to stay clean all race. So, I mean, in all honesty, Dan deserved to win the race because he was on fire today. It was unreal. So, very fortunate, especially where I started. So,
What was it in the end? 177.
it was a tenth.
Yeah,
It
it
was
was
like
by a tenth.
but if it gets taken off, Dan deserves it anyway because he asked me at the start of the race to take podium. I would have bit your hand off for it. So yeah, I'm over the moon.
Fair enough, mate. Congratulations on the P1. Really well done to keep it clean, especially in these kind of conditions. And coming from P15, you've been voted as driver of the day as well by the viewers watching at home. So congratulations on that one as well.
Cheers, man. Thank you.
So with that being said, we're gonna round off this chaotic but amazing tier 3 race for today. Thank you guys for joining the commentary box. Congratulations on the podium. Thank you, Lewis, for joining the commentary box with me. It was a pleasure as always.
Yeah, it was great racing. Well done, guys, and yeah, look forward to more next week.
Yeah, 100%. Next week we will be racing around Canada, so that will be a pretty good track as well. Make sure you tune in tomorrow to see me and Lewis in the Mercedes struggling as always. Make sure you tune in on the Wednesday for the Tier 1 race and the America Tier 2 race, and on the Thursday for the AU Elite Tier, the Real Aliens, and the AM1 guys. If you want to buy some Console Speed merch, go check out our shop. It will help us out a lot. If you like the stream, make sure you follow, make sure you tune in next week, and as I always say, goodbye.